The big one is really, 80% of people I talked to said, I want more leads, I want more customers, I want more sales. But at the end of the day, what they really need to do is dig deep into themselves and say, what is it you really want? What do you really want? Because and many coaches have told me this, he said, one of the things that when you ask that question, what do people want? Often they'll start telling you about the things they don't want, but you need to actually kind of put a checkmate them on that, because often they won't tell you right away why they really want to do it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. As always, I have an amazing guest for you today. You know this, the power of network is long and deep and phenomenal, and this is exactly how I had a chance and the opportunity to meet Rick, my amazing guest for today. I don't have enough great words to talk about this author, speaker, and this amazing book that he wrote. We actually met through a My Most Trusted, a high-level Zoom call, and I was immediately attracted to all of these amazing people in the room, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need an appointment. What do? We connected on LinkedIn, and we decided to have some calls together to see exactly how we could add value to each other's world. So today, very special, Rick is going to explain to you what it is that he's doing right now, and I want him to share about what our podcast is all about, Unveiling Journeys. He's going to tell you how his life wove in and out of getting to where he's at now when we get to that part of our story. So Rick, tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing right now.
Okay, well, I can give you a quick soundbite. Again, my name is Rick McCulloch. I am a profit acceleration and business growth specialist. I help entrepreneurs uncover their hidden assets in their business and multiply their profits without having to make any additional investment or with any risk to their business. So what that looks like is I have about 40 different strategies, depending on what your needs are, to actually figure out what makes you different, what makes you stand out, and how you're going to create better processes in your business. And my biggest thing is really about figuring out what makes you so special in the market. Why would somebody want to talk to you rather than the next door neighbor who maybe does the same thing? But you have to figure out what makes you different over and above what your competitors do. And unless you create that what I call market dominating position, you basically become a commodity competing only on price. And that forms the fountainhead of everything else you do in your business, including all the other 39 strategies.
That's incredible. I love it. It sounds like you have so much structure to attack this model of how to make somebody profitable more in their business. Now, what we really want to hear is how you got to this. Like, tell us more about your journey and where it started. And I didn't even tell everybody, you're my friend from up north. You're in Canada.
Yeah, I'm great right north. Yeah. So I'm in Calgary, Alberta, and I originally was living in Manitoba, where I got my degree in geology, and I moved out to Calgary, and I spent 25 years exploiting oil and gas reserves and directing complex drilling operations. And I transitioned with the skills I learned from that, which include strategic planning, project management, risk assessment, and communication skills. I transitioned using those skills into helping other businesses grow their business. Basically, the companies that wanted oil and gas companies to hire them, I was working with them to help them get more business. And I found out very quickly, even though I had those skills, transitioning those skills into a different mode of actually using those services to selling them, I was like a carpenter who was really good at banging nails, but I couldn't sell one to save my soul. So I basically connected with a number of coaches, and I got connected with, probably over the past number of years, I've probably connected with and been mentored by up to 20 different coaches. But I started with my first coach was the fellow you see on the book cover. He was co-authored the book with me, David Chang. He really helped me a lot, and he was one of my first coaches. But he introduced me to a lot of other coaches where I need to learn more things above and beyond what he could teach me. So I've always been learning, and basically what happened is, so I've learned how to actually position myself to be able to clearly express what I do, what my clients do, and So there's a lot of different things I learned along the way that took me to where I am right now. So it's a bit of a shortened version of my story, but that's how I got here.
That's incredible. I love that you understand the power of the people that had to pour into you. And I'm a product of the system of all of the coaches and mentors that I've had to hire in my life. And they're the ones that help me see the bigger vision. Sometimes they believe in you more than you believe in yourself, and they can see you getting along in that path. Tell us why what you do right now is so important to you.
Well, I remember a while back, and I didn't become a client, but it basically, and I was already doing the business, but it kind of really crystallized the importance of what I'm doing. So I was doing an interview, I call it compassionate sales call with somebody. It's something I learned from David Nagel. And I was talking to him about his business and why he did what he did. I realized I kind of broken through to him when he actually broke out in tears because he said, this is my story and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm so grateful for that. So what motivates me is the ability to see the gratitude in people's faces in their speech when I'm able to help them make breakthroughs in their business. So one of the things I learned at a workshop I was at probably, maybe a couple months ago, and now there was a guest speaker on there, and he said, why do people do what they do? And I kind of knew this, but he really crystallized it. He said, the reason people do the things they do is because we all want to achieve some sort of significance in this life, at least some sort of legacy behind. And that's what I do. So my mission, and this is what gives me joy, is if I can help somebody uncover their greatness and achieve a life of abundance in their business life and personal life, that gives me a great amount of gratitude.
That's incredible. When people work with you, what are some of the common holdups or hangups that people are dealing with that you're able to help them overcome?
The big one is really, 80% of people I talked to said, I want more leads, I want more customers, I want more sales. But at the end of the day, what they really need to do is dig deep into themselves and say, what is it you really want? What do you really want? Because and many coaches have told me this, he said, one of the things that when you ask that question, what do people want? Often they'll start telling you about the things they don't want. But we need to actually kind of put a checkmate them on that, because often they won't tell you right away why they really want to do it. So you have to kind of dig a little bit deeper, and you have to find out what's really motivating them. So when somebody say runs sort of Facebook ads, or they run LinkedIn ads, or when they kind of ads, they're going to say, well, they do this because they want more leads. Well, they want more leads because they want more sales. They want more sales because they want more customers, and they want more money. But at the end of the day, what they really want is to achieve more of the things, the happiness, success that they want in their business and personal life. That's what they're really after. So you have to kind of dig a little bit deeper when you're when I'm talking to my clients. You have to dig a little bit deeper, find out what really motivates them. Because unless they're really motivated what they're doing, they're not going to be a good client for you, because they're not motivated enough to take those action steps they need to take to move forward.
That's incredible. What would you say is the common problem that most businesses have right now?
Well, as I mentioned, getting leads is important for them, but one of the things I'm finding right now is a lot of people are struggling. Not all, but how can I word this? I remember a couple of years ago, maybe three now, I read an article from the U.S. Labor Department about what the biggest challenges for business were, and I think it's still true today. And they had a list of about 75 top challenges that business owners had, and right at the very top of the list was actually changing government regulations. Because when they change regulations, now, I'm not a specialist in this, but this is not what I necessarily help them with, but I can connect with people who do understand this. So one of the biggest challenges is when somebody comes along and changes the rules, that it makes it much more difficult for them to operate. At probably about number 10 on that list was actually marketing. But one of the biggest problems with marketing is, and they keep telling me, I don't have time to do the marketing. I don't have time. I don't have the expertise. I don't have the time to do it. Because I think it was, and I hope I'm not making a meal of this, but I think it was Peter Drucker. I think I'm quoting the right person. He originally said, the marketing and innovation are the only things in your business that actually make you money. Everything else is an expense. Basically, marketing is probably a lot of things people need because that's the only thing, marketing innovation are the only things that are going to get you clients.
Right, right. You got to tell people what you're doing so that they can identify that you can solve that problem with them.
And then you need to build that relationship with them too. And sometimes it means you have to, it's a know, like, and trust, but I take it one step further. It's building that personal connection with them before it's not the trust to a certain point, but you got to build that connection with them. Like, can you really help them do it, solve the problem they have and they don't want?
Yeah. Now, coming from oil and gas, that's your expertise. But what are your favorite industries that you want to be a profitability coach for?
Well, I think oil and gas would be one of them, and then basically oil and gas service companies. And as part of those service companies, I do include IT companies because in certain geographic regions, IT and oil and gas are connected at the hip because they really codepend upon each other. I generally like working with business owners and entrepreneurs who've been in business for maybe at least up to 5 years, because then they have some assets to work with, and they're making probably at least $300,000 but under $10 million. And the reason I choose that narrow, or not, I wouldn't call it narrow, but mid-sized niche, is because often business owners who are just startups, and I do work with startups, but the problem with startups is they often don't have enough experience to understand what's really important, and where they haven't developed enough problems yet. They haven't been around long enough to develop those problems. And as you get bigger, then you start realizing, oh, there's more problems here I got to solve. Marketing is a big one. And a lot of startups, well, I don't need to market myself. I can just stand on the street in a monkey suit and that'll be good enough. Well, that often doesn't work. So, and you do have to get people's attention, but monkey suit isn't going to be often good enough. So I like to work with businesses that have some experience, but not too big. And the reason I like working with companies too big, because there's too much, number one, there's too much bureaucracy in getting to the people, decision makers. And also, if you're trying to work with a bigger company, they often have to get too many people involved in making any kind of decisions about what you're asking them to do.
Now, this is incredible work that you're doing. Do you have anything on the horizon, like your next big thing that you're working on, or can you even tell us?
One thing I'm working with on the horizon that's coming up, and this is one thing I do as well. It's tied in with, it's all tied together, but I have a lot of different pieces and parts to what I do. But my main focus is really, I'm more of the architect, basically creating the strategy, and then I basically outsource a lot of the services. So one of the things I'm working with a digital marketing company to help my clients get more online visibility, and manage their online reputation, and also manage their social media. Another thing I'm working with is a syndication group out of the UK that helps my clients get massive exposure to authority sites such as Google My News, NBC, USA Today. So if you want that kind of exposure, it's a little pricier to do, but it will actually get you much more online exposure than you can get just by posting on regular social media channels. Because if somebody sees you on NBC, like if Google sees you on NBC News, you're basically borrowing their authority in Google. You basically get put right to the top.
Yeah, exactly. I just recently heard of that a couple weeks ago. They said it was news hacking. I'm like, well, that's fun.
It actually does work. And so basically it's a little pricey to do because you have to be working with copywriters that know how to talk to the press. So I basically, through that organization I belong to, they have a stable of copywriters specifically trained to talk to the press. And
That's incredible.
It creates an article which gets transformed into a blog, a podcast even, and a video and some infographics. There's about 9 different mediums it gets converted to, depending upon what the particular news source wants. And so and I have a client I may be very probably going to be working with, have a meeting with her tomorrow. She's a video directory that does video directories for YouTube, and she's trying to get more exposure online, and so she's working with me to get more exposure through the news feeds.
Oh, that's cool. Can you tell us maybe one, or if you have to, 2 good nuggets that you want to leave as a great tip for our audience?
Let me just look at my long list here, but I'll try and I'll narrow it down to one. Give me just 1 second here. I just want to grab that one nugget that's important.
Sure.
So make sure I get it right.
It's hard to limit it down. So if you have to go over your favorite too, that's great.
So basically, I would say if you're looking for one really nugget, is fire your ego.
I don't know if people are going to understand that.
I will explain that.
Okay.
So what that means is a lot of business owners, especially when they first start, and even as they get bigger, they still have this problem. So they're saying to themselves, I'm the only person that can do the things that need to be done to run this business. So they won't step out of the way or hire the people to outsource the people who are better at what they do than they are. And the reason they do that is because of their ego. And I heard a quote from Elon Musk recently. He did a short video on this. And he said one of the top reasons, and I may be making a little bit of a meal of this, sorry for that, Elon, if I'm making a bit of a meal of this, but he basically said many businesses fail, and probably most businesses fail because of ego.
Wow. Because if they're not...
So get your ego out of the way. As a segue to that, or as an extension to that, surround yourself with people smarter than you, who know more than you do in the areas that you're trying to use to move your business forward.
That is a great one. Those are so good. If people could identify that sooner than later, they got to surround themselves with the people that are going to hopefully be honest enough to share that with them or get them to level up, right? I believe everybody that wants to work with you, Rick, is on a path to leveling up. Give us a tidbit of what it's like to have an end result after buying and reading your book.
Well, actually, I've had a few people reading my book, and actually I had a lady she runs this CIBN network in Calgary here, and I'm probably going to make a little bit of a meal of this, but she said she told me she found the book very amazing, very clear, very simple to follow with very sound principles. This is the book you see behind me there on Target Mastering the 4 Pillars of Business Success. And because of the connection I made with her, I actually got invited to some of their mastermind groups, and the comments she was getting back from the people who attended those masterminds said, I've become a trusted source in the community.
That's incredible. That's what we want to hear, right? Your trusted source in the community. That's awesome. Everybody that is listening right now is thinking, hey, I want to get to know Rick. What are going to be the best locations that everybody can come find you? Of course, they're going to be all the hyperlinks and everything down below, but go ahead and tell us your favorite spots where everybody can reach out to you.
Okay, probably LinkedIn, and that'll be in the links in the bottom. And then also my website, attractmoreprofits.com.
That's a good one. Attractmoreprofits.com. And he's going to be under Rick McCulloch. And if you can't find him, you need to friend me and go through my friends list, because this is what we do. We network the heck out of ourselves, and we want to get to know more people so that we can empower people, level people up, help them overcome their business challenges. And I'm so appreciative of your time. We have 1 more minute left in our call. Do you want to share with us one more nugget you want to leave with everybody?
Yeah, I would say getting back to what I was talking about, surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Good one. Oh my gosh. How are you going to know if you're the smartest person in the room? You and I are both pretty smart. We better be careful.
Well, you start the way you find out is by listening to what other people are saying.
True. I admit that. And you know what? I think it's the ego. Step outside my ego. I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything. I want to stay in my lane. I want to hire the experts, and I want to get there faster and more efficient to be able to do more of what I want to do. What do you like to do in your fun time?
Play with AI.
Oh, play with AI. That's fun. I'm in like the kiddo season of my life. I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. That's what we do. We're still digging in the sand over here. Yeah, I think AI is the wave of the future. I mean, it's going to take over at some point. May as well just jump in. I'm not going to fight the current on that one.
You know, I actually may be an avatar. I may not be a real person.
Check. Testing. Is it Rick? Tell me, what's 2 plus 2?
It's Rick.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let everybody know you got to run out and connect with Rick. He's got a hyperlink, so that way I can get you guys a free 30-minute session with him. And that way you can take a peek to see how he can level you up in your business today by crushing all those things that you thought your ego was keeping you in the way of. and being able to let you go even further than you thought you could. Thank you again, Rick, for your time, and see you soon.
Thank you very much, Tiffany, for having me here.
Absolutely.